So here's a big question. How are we supposed to stay cool in a world that's just getting hotter and hotter without using tech that, well, makes the whole problem even worse? It's a real puzzle. But it turns out the answer might have been hiding in plain sight, buried in our own history. Get this number in your head, 5.5 billion. According to the International Energy Agency, that's how many air conditioners we're projected to have running by 2050. That's almost 3 times as many as we have now. And that right there leads us to a pretty massive problem. And yeah, that problem has a name, the air conditioning paradox. You can think of it as this giant, powerful feedback loop that we are stuck right in the middle of. It's kind of wild when you think about it. Air conditioning, our #1 solution for heat, is responsible for about 3% of all global greenhouse gas emissions. So the more we crank up the AC to cool down, the warmer we make the planet, which of course just makes us want to use the AC even more. It's this vicious cycle, and we've got to find a way to break it. And this isn't some far-off problem. The urgency is, well, it's right now. This quote from the 2023 Global Climate Report really just spells it out. We keep shattering temperature records, which means our dependency on AC is only going to get stronger. Unless, that is, we find a smarter way to cool off. So, okay, let's talk about that smarter way. It's all about building a better defense system. It's about turning your home itself into the first and, honestly, the best line of protection you have against the heat. And what if this revolutionary new defense isn't actually new at all? What if the smartest thing we can do is look back at ideas people have been using for thousands of years? You know, from ancient Egypt to the way modern Amish communities build, people have known how to stay cool without plugging anything in for centuries. And that, right there, is the heart of passive cooling. So the #1 rule of passive cooling is brilliantly simple. Just don't let the heat get inside in the first place. Think of it like your home's personal shield. It's got 3 main parts: shading to physically block the sun, reflecting to bounce that sunlight away, and insulating, using materials that basically slow heat down to a crawl before it can get to you. And this is a perfect example of what that looks like in the real world. These are traditional Samin houses in Indonesia, and they're basically masterpieces of passive design. They're built with local, natural materials and all these clever design tricks that have been perfected over generations to deal with the hot, humid climate. And a huge piece of the puzzle is what we build with. It's all about the materials. See, traditional materials like mud brick are like a thermal sponge. They soak up heat all day long and then slowly let it go when it's cool at night. But a lot of our modern materials, like concrete and metal, they do the exact opposite. They absorb heat incredibly fast, turning our buildings into giant ovens that pretty much require AC to be livable. Now, shading alone is an absolute game changer. Wide roof overhangs, they're like a permanent umbrella for your house. A simple awning over a window can cut the heat coming through by up to 77%. That's huge. And maybe the best tool of all is just a good old-fashioned deciduous tree. It's nature's perfect technology. Gives you free shade in the summer, then drops its leaves to let the warm sun in during the winter. Okay, so step 1, we've blocked the sun. But what about the heat that still manages to sneak inside? Well, step 2 is where we put the air itself to work for us. You know that basic rule of physics, hot air rises? Well, the stack effect is just a fancy name for weaponizing that fact. If you design a building the right way, you can create a natural chimney. It creates this constant upward draft that pulls cool, fresh air in from down low and pushes stale, hot air out from up high, all with zero electricity. And let's go back to those salmon houses again, because you can see it so clearly here. Those really high ceilings and steep roofs, that's not just for looks. That's a purpose-built engine for the stack effect. It gives all that hot air a place to go, up and away, so it can escape through vents and keep that cool air cycle going. So you've got air moving up, but you can also get it moving side to side. This is called cross-ventilation, and it's basically about creating your own breeze. If you can face a building toward the wind and place windows on opposite walls, you can funnel even the slightest breeze right through your home. It's a natural air conditioner. And if you're wondering how well this stuff actually works, get a load of this number. A properly ventilated attic can stay about 30 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than an unventilated one. Just think about that. That drastically cuts down on the heat load bearing down on your living space. It's just incredibly powerful. All right, so we've dealt with the sun and we've harnessed the wind, but there is one more massive, powerful ally in our fight to stay cool: And it's literally right under our feet, the ground itself. I love this quote from Reddit about Amish families because we all intuitively get this, right? It's a scorching hot day, and you walk down into a basement, and that cool concrete floor feels amazing. That coolness, it's coming straight from the earth. Well, that feeling has a scientific name. It's called thermal mass. The Earth is basically a giant thermal battery. It absorbs and holds on to temperature, so just a few feet down, the temperature stays pretty much the same all year round, way cooler than the air in the summer and warmer in the winter. And there are some really cool ways to tap into that. I mean, a basement is the most common example we all know, but you can go even further. You have bermed homes, where earth is piled up against the walls, in-hill homes, which are built right into a slope. And then you have fully underground homes, which get the most benefit from that stable earth temperature. Okay, so we've covered shading, ventilation, and using the ground. What does this all add up to for us today? Let's pull all these ancient ideas together and see how they create a playbook for how we can build in the future. This is what's so amazing. When you lay it all out like this, you realize the past gives us a direct blueprint. Ancient Turkish arches worked on the exact same shading principle as modern awnings. Egyptian wind catchers were just early versions of vented attics. Those thick mud brick walls, they're the ancestors of modern rammed earth construction. The solutions have been here the whole time. And let's be really clear about something. This is not about getting rid of modern technology. Nobody is saying you have to abandon your air conditioner. It's about integrating this timeless wisdom to make our technologies smarter. If our homes are already naturally cooler, our modern tech just doesn't have to work as hard. And that is how we finally break that paradox. So I guess it all boils down to this one last question. As we try to design the resilient, sustainable, comfortable homes of the future, maybe the most important thing we can do is just take a moment and look back.